Contrary to what most people think, not all shonen battle series are extremely well known or even discussed about. Hello audience, today on Yvern's Box we will be discussing Code Breaker, written by Akimine Kamijo, best known for her work Samurai Deeper Kyo. It is somewhat confusing why this series isn't as popular as the other series, or other series in general. So why or where exactly did it go wrong? The story follows the adventure of a group of code breakers, government-sanctioned agents given the right to eliminate anything that the law cannot. The story has a much darker tone than other shonen series, and where other shonen series explore the themes of growing up and friendship, Code Breaker instead explores the deeper and darker themes of what is right and wrong, who has the right to judge, etc. The story begins simply enough, but will slowly deepen and even darken. Plot twists will come in multitudes, and everything becomes much more complex. However, while the writer attempts to make a dark, well-defined and detailed story, she takes too much time to do so, making pointless twists and turns, and sometimes ends up focusing on the wrong things. Furthermore, while the story originally explored the limits of justice, it slowly degraded to a cookie-cut beat this guy to solve everything story. And although it is still a decent watch or read, the problems may lead others elsewhere. Like most shonen battle series, there is a large cast for the story. There isn't a single good guy or bad guy, which is good. However, thinking back, none of the characters truly stood out for me. In fact, after finishing the manga and anime over half a year ago, I had nearly forgotten the existence of this series. Granted, each important character was quirky and enjoyable in their own way. However, we have seen better of them done elsewhere. There are two saving graces though, that being the main male and female characters and the relationship between them. Rei Ogami believes in the old philosophy of an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. And although he does not enjoy punishing villains, he does not see any reason to stop, and is fully convinced in his actions. However, writing him off as a simple, cold bastard wouldn't do him justice either. In actuality, he is much kinder than people think he is. This is caused by him having closed his heart to the world and becoming unable to express his thoughts. One thing I really like about Rei though is how unconventional of a main character he is. Instead of spouting bullshit, which is typical of shonen heroes, Rei's view on the world, although flawed, is very to the ground. In actuality, early Ogami was one of the best characters that I've ever seen, falling in line with the likes of Hey BK201 from the Darker Than Black series, or even Spider-Man? But that would be left for dead later, which is quite depressing. The other good character is Sakura Koji, or you could call her Sakura Squared or Sakura times 2 if you want, the main female character and the official romantic interest for Ogami. Being the polar opposite to Ogami, Sakura does not believe that anyone has the single right to judge another, and that violence is not always the answer. She voices her opinion and is very straightforward, to the point of even being the one who takes the lead in their romantic relationship. Although not the brightest and quite naive, her persistent and even comedic character makes her very interesting. However, overall the character roster was somewhat lackluster, and although viewers or readers might like certain characters enough, the masses as a whole will probably, like me, sweep them under a rug when they are done with the show. Or manga. The manga lasted for 26 volumes and is a mixed bag for me. It grabbed my attention early on, but eventually the interest faded away and I continued reading only for the sake of catching up / finishing the story. The art wasn't exactly bad, but felt unpolished or rushed at times. Granted, I myself can't draw for the sake of me, so you can take that with a grain of salt. However, there were some ups and not just downs, with some scenes remaining fantastically memorable, like the confession scene. But if you do want to get the complete package that Code Breaker can give you, with its fine points and its flaws, you should read the manga, because the anime was produced by Kanema Citrus, who is responsible for Black Bullet. I guess that's all. In 2012, in the form of 13 episodes. The anime was much like the manga. It caught you during the first few episodes, but proceeded to let you down along the way. Some good points would be how they handled the first few chapters. While the introduction of the main characters and the foundation of the setting took quite a bit of chapters, the anime smashed that all together and fit in more or less 2 episodes. But the anime strays from its source material quite a bit, and having lived through the FMA anime and FMAB, that might put some people off. Finally, the anime ends with still quite a bit of content left. However, I highly doubt that Kanima or any other studio would ever pick this up because of how much of a train wreck this anime was as a whole. Granted, credit must be given where it's due. The animation is solid, with special effects like Ogami's blue flames being beautiful to look at. At the same time, the sound is decent, with the opening song being reminiscent of Dragon Ball, though that might be just for me. But these are not enough of a reason for me to ever recommend this anime to anyone close to me, and I shall leave the discovery of this anime to those lucky or unlucky enough to find it. And to answer the question, is the anime better if I didn't read the manga? The answer is no. Before anyone starts complaining or agreeing, I have to first say that the series is in no way completely unenjoyable. Although I did say that reading the manga felt like a responsibility at a certain point, the manga was never so bad that I would decide to drop it. This is still an action-packed, somewhat thought-provoking, and darker than average shonen series that could be enjoyed. However, when there are flaws, we cannot be so loving as to ignore them, nor can we ignore what it had done right for the sake of vomiting on it. Having put all these information into consideration and weighing the criteria, Codebreaker ends up with a score of 64.9%, a score which would mean passable but nothing more. And again, if you want to go out of your way to take a shot at this series, I would definitely recommend you to read the manga. Anyway guys, I hope you like my quick review of the Codebreaker series, and expect more quick reviews like this from me. This has been Yvern, and my box.